G'day. In today's topic, I'm going to cover a little bit of finance, which this is coming from a repair perspective in the phone field, IT field, and car field. And just trends that I've currently noticed that are becoming more and more ridiculous. Also, my cat is beside me, so it may make some noises. We'll see. Anyway, I'll start with a little story. Just yesterday, I had a customer come in. They had a high-end Samsung tablet, a Tab S10 Ultra or 10S Ultra, depending which way you want to put it. And they brought it in. They only purchased it less than 3 to 6 months ago. They've dropped it. It smashed the screen. And from there, it doesn't have an image. Okay, straightforward. Take it to the repair place, the place you purchased it from. Hopefully they can assist you. She took it back to the place of purchase and they said they can't do anything. They don't have any repairability for these. They can't do anything with it. They suggested go down the path of insurance, which I'll go back to in just a moment. I had a look up, tried to find the part. Basically, the device was too new for me to be able to get any parts, including from China. Maybe if I delve deep enough, I might be able to come across one. She said she already had been to another repair place. They said it was going to be close to $1,000 to replace the screen on this $2,000 tablet. Granted, because it was so brand new, there's really not much available for it. So anyway, I said, sorry, I cannot actually assist you with this. I can't help. I guess insurance is about the only path that you've got for that. Apart from just basically tossing it away, which is, great, consumerism. Toss it away and get another one. Which got me thinking regarding the repairability of certain devices. Apple devices have been notoriously getting worse, mainly because they've been serializing more and more parts to the point that you lose features when you swap the battery over. You swap the battery over, it won't tell you the battery health. You can have 2 brand new iPhones and swap the parts over and they lose features. You could swap the screen over. You might lose, forgot the particular term for it, but you will lose some potentially auto brightness and one other feature that always evades me because everyone forgets it, including myself who works on them daily. And with that, you will lose features. But with the newer models, since they're running at a higher refresh rate, the aftermarket Chinese companies are struggling to keep up with that technology and in turn have been struggling to produce a OLED display running at 120 Hz, which means then for those particular models, you're either using slightly inferior aftermarket displays or you're paying Apple to replace that screen for you. So with that, they go ahead and replace it, or you claim it under insurance and write up the whole device because you can't get the phone fixed locally in your area. So you claim it all, and then everyone else's excesses go up. And what else have I noticed this with? I've been noticing this a lot with EVs, electric vehicles, except everyone's insurance is going up. So because all of a sudden they might have an extra 10,000 EVs on there, they get smashed on the side, they can't replace the door, they don't want to touch it because of the battery pack, or the battery pack's cracked and exposed and they don't want to touch it. Then they write off a $60,000 vehicle, 50,000, 40, well, depending on whatever region you are. I think in Australia about $60,000. So because your car previously cannot be repaired, everyone's insurance and premiums are going to go up because of that. Which is the exact same thing that I'm seeing with tech, is parts are not available. Thus, people are paying. I feel like what used to happen was the manufacturer would release a phone or a car, they'd sell the car, and then whatever happens in the free market after that happens. Be it there might be aftermarket brake pads, aftermarket this, people are salvaging parts off them. But everything's becoming more and more closed and closed looped, where things have serial numbers, things have to communicate a certain way, you replace something, you change it, and all of a sudden features don't function. Not that there any particular reason why, apart from software and them denying that from working, but to the point that what was the other one I heard about? A Subaru EyeSight camera getting a camera which attaches to the front window facing the driver. And I was hearing about this story in Australia where the front windscreen was cracked, it got swapped over, the camera got swapped over onto the new glass. This camera still didn't work. They took it to Subaru and said, you're going to need a new camera, that's $3,000. What insanity is this? They said on the camera there was a fingerprint smudge. They can't clean it. It requires to be replaced. Everything now seems to lead back to the manufacturer. Doesn't matter what device it is, for them to get extra money or ridiculously inflated part prices, or just simply replace the whole device because the prices of those replacement parts are so inflated that it doesn't make logical sense to do that. So then in turn, it gets claimed on insurance, and then in turn, everyone's insurance goes up. It seems to be that every little bit is squeezing everybody. By that I mean, like, for example, the manufacturer goes, if we sell our replacement screens for this device, or just recently on a website called iFixit, Samsung was partnered as a repair part seller, where people iFixit would get the parts from Samsung and then they'd on-sell them. You couldn't buy batteries by themselves. You could buy the batteries in a frame with the screen, but you couldn't get the battery to replace in your phone. Just recently, iFixit have basically given them the boot. They're still offering them, but they're now going to go elsewhere to get replacement parts for these Samsung phones, not from the manufacturer, because the manufacturer was extorting its own customers to such a ridiculous length. It just seems like the companies have realized that it used to be, that would cost $5,000 to get fixed through the manufacturer. For whatever, let's say a car. Oh, your motor's blown. It's going to cost $12,000 to replace that engine through them. Or it's going to cost $2,000 and labour to replace it with a good conditioned engine from a wrecker's. Now that wrecker option seems to be no longer there. And because that option is not there, either people are paying the extorted price to prop up the profits of these companies that have already made a profit on selling the vehicle, nonetheless, or they're going down the insurance path, which everyone else is paying for at once. I'm almost curious to see what, from an insurance point of view, without EVs being included, how much of how many write-offs actually happen nowadays without EVs? So I'm curious if a insurance company decided to basically block out or deny any EVs from signing up with them, would that overall company's premiums and insurance prices be cheaper? I suspect the answer is probably going to be yes, because you're not going to be writing off $40,000 to $70,000 cars for minor damage that they cannot get repaired. Which, as I say, EVs are basically gone in the same path of mobile phones. It's almost a look at this. I believe the term is virtue signaling for that, where look how great this is. It's perfect. When in reality, the manufacturing cost of that vehicle was so high on resources and energy that buying a second-hand car would have been overall more cost-effective than the EV getting produced. Granted, the production of it is more than something, well, put it this way. If something doesn't exist and something does exist, the amount of energy to make another thing exist when it's already there is going to be double. So then in turn, no matter what the overall lifespan of that vehicle is, which with EVs seem to be relatively low as we're seeing, especially for range or driving distance, that the existing vehicle that was already there would have been a better option, a more efficient, more energy efficient option that was already existing. I just find the world's going slightly mad. And as a repairer of phones and electronic devices, the newer devices are becoming more and more harder to get, more expensive to get, or you have to settle for slightly inferior quality to be able to get it at a reasonable price. But once the clamping down of those third-party sellers and manufacturers happens, what's going to be left? There's going to be nothing left. It will be replace the device and move on and pay and pay and pay. That's all I've got for you. Bye.